Hello and welcome. It is time to discuss the last Disney Renaissance film, Tarzan. Tarzan was released in 1999 and it is the last film of the Disney Renaissance series. After this they kind of went into a lull again, but this was one of the last ones that they did. And this was the last princess love story that they did until 10 years later with Princess and the Frog, but that's gonna be our discussion tomorrow. I know I've been saying this for every film this week, but this is such an underrated film. Rewatching again, I adore it, I love it. I remember watching it in the theaters and it was fantastic then and it made me cry, and it's fantastic now and it makes me cry still. It's very sad. You feel so bad for them. So just like Mulan and just like Hercules and just like Pocahontas and just like Hunchback of Notre Dame, these later Disney films are so underrated. They were popular during their time, but now they're kind of lost in the distance and have been replaced with Frozen and more Frozen and more Frozen. There are a lot of stars in this film, such as Glenn Close. Glenn Close played Kala, Rosie O'Donnell played Turk, Emily Driver played Jane. Of course, back then I only was really aware of Rosie O'Donnell because she was very, very famous during that time period, was at the top of her game.
Can't believe you dragged me to the North Pole.
I want to see how the experts do it.
How'd you pull this off?
I know people.
What was also unique about this film is that Phil Collins did the music for this compared to the Alan Menken, Stephen Schwartz duo that was basically every single Disney Renaissance film until then. So it was a different take of music. We have more of that rock sound and it fits wonderfully perfectly, and every song is a hit. Every song tells a story and it adds to the story, and I really appreciated how they were able to add the animation into it, especially with Son of Man, where they basically have a Lion King montage of him growing up.
Son of man, look to the sky, lift your spirit, set it free. Someday you'll walk tall with pride. Son of man in time you'll be.
But it works so well, and every single song, it just is fun to listen to and it hits their emotions really well. So you gotta give a lot of credit to Phil Collins because he was able to really create an amazing masterpiece. Every song hits your emotions, either getting you energized or making you feel really sad for the gorillas.
I will be here, don't you cry.
For one so small, you seem so strong. My arms will hold you, keep you safe and warm. This bond between us can't be broken. I will be here, don't you cry.
Trashing the Camp is such a fantastic musical number. It is so creative. I really admire the imagination that they did to create this song and to make it really fun, and how simple it is. I know it has that stomp feel to it, and that was probably a lot of the inspiration from that, but it still works so well, and it's just a fun break, and it's a really great way to get the animals involved with the camp and to introduce the animals to the humans and have some fun with it.
Hey. Do it again, do it again.
Like this?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Rip it. Ding, I love that part. Let me hear it, big fella. Now, hit it. Yeah.
Oh!
Nice. What the heck? Bye-bye.
Turk.
Yeah, Dan. Now, hit it. Come on, Kenta. Oh, I love it. Stay with me, fellas. I feel something happening here.
When it comes to character development, Tarzan is wonderful, Jane is wonderful, her father is wonderful. They're amazing and I really admire the way they worked it out. didn't realize though until I rewatched it again how short a time period really happens. It's only a week or so, or a couple weeks, if that. And so it's a really, really strong and quick decision that they end up falling in love with each other. But just like I've said in the past, it makes sense because it's a new world, it's exotic, it's the same story, script, structure that is very formatic, but it does work really well. And they do have really great chemistry with each other. And in that time period, it was the early 1900s, there wouldn't be that many choices, and it's a good way for them to just be together. And it's very modern for her in that sense. She's a very modernized woman in that time period, which also makes her a wonderful role model. Again, I know she's not a princess, but I really like these characters a lot better than the princesses are. I think they're more realistic characters, and because they don't have that royalty role to follow, they're able to be more interesting from the beginning. They come off as being working people and more everyday people, and it makes them more realistic to follow in their footsteps if you want to. And she's very sweet and very kind. I love that she's an artist and she's a teacher. She wants the best for people, it seems. She wants to make sure everyone's taken care of. I can tell from the personality. I really love the way they presented her character and the way that Minnie Driver created her character with the acting and animation. It's wonderful. She's one of my favorites, and she's so underrated. Everyone's underrated. When it comes to villains, Clayton is such a phenomenal villain because of the fact that you hate him. Remember, villains are supposed to be bad, not likable. He is not likable, therefore he's fantastic as a villain. And I really don't know why he's never featured, because until I was rewatching this film, I forgot about his character, that there was even a character. And I even forgot about his name until a couple of seconds before he came on screen. I'm like, wait, I remember this. This is Clayton, right? And they said his name, and it is. In Pocahontas, Governor Ratcliffe is also a villain, and he really isn't that well known either. However, he's still in Fantasmic. He is still seen in a couple of different things, so even though he's not a high known villain, he is still included. Clayton is nowhere. You do not see him. He's like a forgotten villain, and he's not categorized in anything. I want you to, if you know anything where he is a Disney villain, let me know. Please let me know in the comments, because I don't see anything with him, and he needs to be included. He's in the top. He's with Lydia Tremaine. He's with Frollo. I hate him, so he needs to be with them. And they are fantastic as horrible people. I really admire how it did take a while for Tarzan to be accepted by Kerchak, but of course they know how to pull on your heartstrings, because it takes forever to get to the arc, and then once he accepts Tarzan as his son, he dies. It gets you. They know how to do it. It is a fantastic film. It is very emotional. It's very well done, and this needs to be more well known. Again, it needs to be rediscovered. I know that in the past they had stuff when it was coming out, but now that it's 20 years old as well, almost 20 years old, it has disappeared and it's really not that known. I know you have Tarzan's treehouse in a couple of Disney parks like Disneyland, but nothing in Disney World, and I'm not sure, I don't remember from on Europe's side and in Asia if there's anything in those Disney parks, but Tarzan needs to be rediscovered. It needs to be out there, just like Hercules. This little section of film, so Hercules, Hunchback, Tarzan especially, and even Pocahontas, they need to go and they need to get rediscovered again because they need more support. They are still fantastic. They hold up over time, but they kind of got pushed aside for newer features. I could just keep ranting on it, but I think that's a wrap for Tarzan. So tomorrow we're going to jump ahead 10 years from 1999 to 2009 with The Princess and the Frog, and jump into a lot more of the recent Disney princess films. As always, I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon.